Hello and welcome back to my podcast, Live, Laugh, Lily Kincade. It's your host, Lily Kincade. How are you guys doing? Happy Monday. Mondays used to be my least favorite day of the week, and I slowly turned them into my favorite. And I kind of just love that. That's just an analogy for, the things you hate, start making them fun. I started doing my podcast on Mondays. I started doing mental health check-ins on Mondays. I started doing Monday long walks where I would think and plan out my week, and it's made me very excited about them. And I hope your day today is exciting. If it's not, I hope this video at least makes it feel a little bit better and it makes you realize that you're not alone. Today's topic is mainly kind of like a rant. Today we're just ranting, and honestly, exactly what I'm talking about in this podcast is exactly what I'm going through right now. And as you can tell by the topic, or not by the topic, you guys, I'm all over the place. By the title, stop waiting. Stop waiting. That is what we are ranting about today. And myself included, I was like, oh, I'll film the podcast tomorrow. I can do it later. And I was like, Lily, stop waiting. Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting? Why are we waiting? There's so many things that we're waiting on, I feel like, and there's a huge difference between passively waiting and then taking action while you're being prepared for the new chapter in your life. And I don't know. It can be, I go through phases where I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm making all these steps towards my goals. And then something will happen and I'll be sidetracked or I'll feel like giving up. And this is just kind of a little motivational rant and reminder that, you know what, you're not alone, but it's okay to fall off and get back on track. You're not going to be perfect, and don't expect to be 150% every single day. But, if you can give a little bit, it's still better than nothing. And yeah, okay, I'm ready to rant. Mainly, I don't know, just to tell you guys you're not alone. Anyways, we're going to start off this episode with some quotes, because looking at other people's lives also fills me up with so much inspiration, because it puts the humanity in situations and also gets you out of your head, because you are not alone. No matter how crazy your problems are, I told you guys, you're not alone. So I have two quotes today because I really like them both and I couldn't pick just one. Also, if you're watching the video version on YouTube or Spotify, the sun is pouring through and it's been I'm in Nashville right now, but it's been gray and cloudy and rainy, which I love. It's like sad girl music, winter vibes, but it's the first day that it's been fully sunny and I feel recharged. I feel like a new person, so that's why I'm smiling, because the sun is coming through. It's about to hit my disco ball and it's about to light up my whole living room, and I'm gonna do some writing after I film this episode. I'm feeling very inspired. Not only with, LK1 and the creation of the album. I've started pondering what I want the cover art to look like and all that type of stuff, but then also, the LK2. I'm writing this next chapter in my life. It's so weird to think that in a couple months I'm gonna be 23. A lot of my friends are turning 24 or 23, and we've just been talking about it a lot, and it's so strange. What in the world? We're old, but we're not old, We're not old. I don't know. You get it. Anyways, I have two quotes for you. I'm going to read them off my computer. Okay, the first one is from Wallace D. Wattles, I believe. Do not wait for a change of environment before you act. Get a change of environment by action. You can so act upon the environment in which you are now as to cause yourself to be transferred to a better environment. Hold with faith and purpose the vision of yourself in the better environment, but act upon your present environment with all your heart and with all your strength and with all your mind. Mic drop, period. I need to stop saying period. I can't stop. We can't stop. I can't stop saying period, but that was just a bar. Because it is true. Oftentimes, just with everything, I'm like, oh, I'll write once I have motivation to write. I'll go to the gym once I have motivation. I'll do the laundry once I have motivation. But it's I don't think we're ever gonna just wake up one day and feel oh my God, I'm gonna do this now. I think that motivation is something that's a byproduct of taking action. And say for example with work, I always talk about music because that's my work, but just with anything, it's if you're sitting around being oh, I need a better job. I don't know if you're going to get a better job just sitting around waiting, hoping it's going to come to you. I think maybe by, talking to your friends, hey, I'm looking for a better job. Let me know if you find anything, being proactive about it, taking action, maybe sending out your resume. Then I think you're going to find a better job. But it's not you're being proactive. Every time I say proactive too, I think of the skincare, the acne, Proactive, the acne skincare, not sponsored, but I did have really bad acne. So you know what, maybe I should go into an episode about that, because you know what? One of my favorite compliments I get is when people compliment me on my skin, because I went through it. And it was around the time that I was getting my driver's license. I was like 15, 16. And it was just, I don't think you realize how important and how much it affects your self-esteem when you have like acne on your face. Like it's a whole nother story. But basically, like, whenever I get the compliment of, I love your skin, it's so clear, it means so much to me, because I know how it feels to just feel so ashamed and feel so insecure. And every time you talk to people, like those commercials where it's like the people are talking to the pimple, I know it's kind of an exaggeration, but that's what it feels like. That's what it felt like, you guys. And yeah, anyways, okay, how did I get here? I don't know, but y'all are the ones who clicked the podcast. You are the Kincadians, so you have to sign up for all of it. If you want my good parts, you have to have my crazy parts too, Anyways, I just love that, because it is so true. I think that you're going to create your new reality, but in a sense it is true. Like I mean, okay, we'll go, oh, you know what? I was going to say we can go into this later, but you know what? No, this is a rant. This episode is going to be titled Rant. Stop waiting, rant. I'm going to have like that, because I don't know. I also want to do an Ask Lily episode, so I would love to do that in these next couple of weeks. So I'm going to start asking you guys for questions, and I'm going to compile them down, because I'm telling you, we got to prepare for the new year. We got to prepare, because 2024, we say this every year, but like, no. This year, I mean it. 2024 is going to be pretty epic. It's going to be pretty epic. I can already feel it. I feel it. It's real love. But what was I saying? You guys, what was I saying? You have me so distracted, but you know what? That's okay. I was basically saying that oftentimes, I think, for example, with friends, this was me for a while, friendships in your adult, am I an adult? Can I call myself that? I guess I can. But friendships post-school, friendships post-school, because you could be older and out of grad school or younger, whatever, friendships post-school are just a lot different, and I think a lot harder. And I had to go through these experiences younger, because I stopped doing like full-time school in person when I moved to California and decided to do independent online school. So I didn't have this built-in system for friends. And then on top of that, I don't have a normal office job where I'm seeing coworkers every single day. So I really had to get out there and make friendships. And I think that's one of the reasons why I do have like a lot of advice and can speak on a lot. And people are like, oh, you're so good with like problems and like relationship problems. I think it's just because I've had a lot of time figuring it out and, going through it. Like truly, sometimes you can learn about a lot, but sometimes you have to go through it to really like understand it, But I had to like really work on my friendships, because I didn't have that built-in security of school and familiarity, and like they were just in close proximity to you, so you became friends with them. And I realized, I was like, okay, if I sit around, no one's gonna invite me out to do anything. Like I need to take action. And so I started doing things. I started inviting friends to go to events with me. I started inviting friends, hey, do you want to go to this hiking place? Let's go together. And at first I was insecure, like, oh, people are going to think I'm weird. But you know what? No. Think about it. We all want people to invite us to things. And think about that feeling, like when you get invited to something, or when a friend you haven't talked to in a really long time randomly calls you and is like, hey, I was just thinking about you, like, let's catch up. Or like, hey, you want to go grab dinner? Think about how good that feels. And that can kind of help getting over the fear of doing that, because I know I'm not anymore, but I think when I was younger, I was like, oh, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to keep asking this person to hang out with me. It's like, think about how you feel when somebody you like asks to hang out with you. Like, no, go ahead and do it, because you're not going to find better friends. You're not going to find those deep, fulfilling, long-term adult friendships without doing that. And I think instead of waiting, take action, And that can go for anything in your life. That can go for going to the gym. It's like, yeah, you can talk about this. You can, oh, I wish I was this. I wish I had better body image. But at a certain point, it's like you just need to take the action. You need to take the action. If you are in a toxic relationship, where like once you're aware of something, like you can't change another person. And I think that the only thing you can change is yourself. And you can take the action by changing yourself, by having your boundaries, which we can do a whole other episode on boundaries, because I love boundaries. I had no boundaries, and that was my big thing that I worked on, and I'm still working on every day, but that really changed my life. Like I even think of my music did not even start to really nothing started to click until I worked on my boundaries, because having boundaries is having respect for yourself. And when you have respect for yourself, you therefore have respect for other people, and you really can value things and value people and for who they are, not what they can do for you, not what they can bring, not who they know. And so that's like a huge thing. But, I think by setting those boundaries and taking the action of saying, I'm not going to tolerate this, you're creating that new reality of either, okay, that person's like, wow, I'm sorry for what I did, I'm going to change, or you guys break up, and then you have that space for a healthy relationship to come into your life. Anyways, that was kind of a rant. Okay, you guys, we're still talking about the quotes. Okay, the second quote I have that I really loved, this is just a rant today. This is just a rant today because you know what? Like, this is your motivation. If you are just sitting there and you're feeling bad about yourself, or you're feeling kind of like, this is really dark, but like useless, or like you're like, oh, what am I doing? Like, you're feeling lost. I've just been feeling lost. Me personally, like, I don't know. Like, I do know what I'm doing, but like at the same time, it's just, I think that's also just being in your 20s. I think we need a whole episode about that, because, TV shows have really set us an unrealistic expectation, but also, you know what? I feel like everything, I don't know, you can't really compare it to anything, because it's like, even all the shows we grew up watching, it's like nobody lived through a pandemic, but also nobody had like the technology that we have. And so I think technology is actually making us more isolated, because it's like giving us the illusion of like doing a lot, but without doing a lot. Like, think about it, how tired you are after scrolling and spending hours just mindlessly consuming content that is not like bringing you joy or making your life feel better or energizing you. Because then I'm so drained that then it's like you don't want to go grab dinner with friends because you're so tired. That's something to ponder on too. Anyways, but basically, if you're watching this, this is your sign to just do whatever it is you need to do. Like, you probably have a chair in your bedroom that has clothes. It probably has purses. It probably has jewelry. You need to go clean the chair right now. Take your phone, take your computer, whatever you're listening to this podcast on, and I want you to go to your bedroom and clean that chair. I have that chair. It's a little stool, and I have a bunch of books on it, and I'm going to clean it right after this. But if you have the chair, do it. If you have laundry, fold it. I oftentimes will let my laundry sit in the dryer. And I'm going to fold it. I heard somebody say, well, there's 2 rules that actually I love. And, sometimes I go through phases where I'm like, oh, I'm so good at this. I do it all the time. And then I forget, or I get lazy, or if life happens and you get busy and you get sad, seasonal depression is real, and it gets dark at 5 p.m. in the United States right now. So it's really extra real. Anyways, I'm not having a crisis. I'm just processing this with you and laughing at myself. Okay. For instance, like, whatever it is you need to do, I have these 2 rules, okay? One of them is called the 2-minute rule. I don't know who it was. I will never forget this, though, but I do not know who it was. If something takes 2 minutes or less, do it now. And you can increase that. Like, I kind of have a thing now where I'm like, okay, if it takes 10 minutes or less, I force myself to do it now, but that's really advanced, really extreme. If you're getting into this, or if you're not in a good place mentally, start with less time. So if something takes 2 minutes or less, do it right when you think about it. If it takes more time than that, you can put it in your calendar or write it down on your to-do list for later. But if it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. You'd be so surprised what takes less than 2 minutes. When I wake up in the morning, I make my bed. It's not always right when I wake up. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to go get a coffee, like get my phone. I've been trying to charge my phone in the living room because having it next to my bed just makes me want to scroll TikTok. Like, I'm addicted to it. I need to I put it in the other room. And then also I really love that because it forces me to get out of bed in the morning when my alarm goes off. Like, I can't just be like, oh, I'll go back to bed. Because at that point I'm already up and I'm like, oh, can't go back to sleep. But I always make my bed. And like, I try to do it right when I wake up, but I have a thing, like before I leave the house for the day, I have to make the bed. So usually if I'm going to a session or something at 10 a.m., I'll wake up at 7 or 8 and like do my makeup, eat breakfast, have my coffee, do my vocal warm-ups, whatever, write a little bit to prep. And I'm like, I can't leave the house until the bed's made. So I do that. Same with dishes. If I'm just eating a snack or something at home, instead of having them pile up and then having me feel anxious, I'm like, okay, will it take 2 minutes to wash this spoon? Okay, yes, I'm going to do it. Same with like, whenever I come in the house, I try to have like a place for everything. Like, like a place to put my keys, or like I need to put my shoes away. Instead of leaving them all by the front door, I'm like, okay, let me put them back in the closet because I don't wear shoes in my house. Fun fact, shoes are really germy, you guys. I'm going to encourage you to stop wearing shoes in your house. A lot of my friends do, and like, no hate to them, to each their own. Like that's the thing about me. I'm like, I do not care what you do in your house, but I care about me. And I think that's we should talk about that in an episode. That's a huge mindset that like, once again, we can't control what other people do, but we can have boundaries around our space. One of my boundaries is like no shoes allowed in my house because I don't know. It's like the people who wear sleep clothes on their bed or like dirty clothes in their bed. I just don't get it because I'm like, the world is so germy and I don't want to get sick, especially now. Like, I'm just very, especially starting to prepare for my future tours because I know once the roller coaster starts, I'm not going to stop. And, that's my own choice. I want to do this career. There's nothing else I'm made for. Like, not nothing else I'm made for, but like, this is what I'm made for. And like, I'm preparing for all the hardships that come with it. But I've really started to take into consideration my health and the boundaries I have around my health. Like if people are smoking, my boundaries, like I will not be in the vicinity. If people are smoking, or if I'm out at a bar or a restaurant, I will literally just be like, okay, you guys can have your cigarette over there. I'm going to like go for a walk, or I'm going to go over here because that's my boundary and my voice is too important to me. So same with the shoes. Okay. I don't know how y'all are seeing real time how my brain thinks. So I guess if any of this is really piquing your interest, let me know because we can do a specific topic and I can give you tips on like exactly how to accomplish these things. But this is kind of an overview. But we were talking about shoes. I was saying if anything takes less than 2 minutes, do it right then. So yeah, like when all my shoes come off by the door, I would actually put them away. Same with coats. Like think about how many times you've come inside and you just throw your coat on the floor. And it sounds silly because it's like, oh, it's just one coat. But you know what? No, I do it all the time. And I've started doing this. If anything takes less than 2 minutes, do it right then and there. Say you have an email you need to respond to. It takes less than 2 minutes, do it right then and there. All those text messages piling up, do it right then and there. Not saying that you're like, you have to respond to everybody, but I think that if something is really long too, one thing that helps me is like just telling somebody, hey, like I saw your message. I'll get back to you when I can, whatever. Like you're not, I think we have this thing of like, oh, well, I don't want to respond until I have the time, but then we often forget. And I think sometimes just doing what you can at the moment is better than doing nothing at all. It's similar to like the taking action thing. It's like just taking a little bit of action is better than sitting around and waiting. And even if it's not 150%, it's better than zero. So, tidying up a little bit, sending out one resume, sending out a couple job applications, texting a couple friends, texting one friend to make an invite, doing one little thing is better than doing nothing at all. And taking that action, you're going to feel better. Okay, we're on to the second quote because I don't know how this got here, but I actually love it. This has like been needed. I think once every like couple episodes, we're going to have a rant. We're going to have a rant because honestly, I wish that there was somebody like yelling at me right now being like, Lily, you got this. I should do a whole episode of just like affirmations. And then you can listen to them and be like, whenever I'm feeling down, I need to put on Lily Kincade's affirmation podcast episode where she's telling me that I can reach all my goals. I'm the most beautiful person in the world. And I'll be like, you are amazing. You can reach all of your goals no matter what any of the haters say. As Taylor Swift said, you just got to shake it off, baby. That would be really fun. Also, this is a little shout out to my mom. My mom watches all of my podcast episodes. If you guys don't follow her, you should follow her on Instagram. It's at Ellie Giovanoli. Ellie is amazing. Ellie is like the best mom ever. And I definitely got the way I love and the way I encourage others from her. So I'm giving her a little shout out. You guys go follow her on Instagram and like tell her hi, say I came from the podcast, but I love Ellie. I think we should have Ellie on. I'm going to plan an episode with Ellie, but what would you guys like to see with her? Like, what do you want to know? We could do whatever you guys want to know. I want to start kind of like writing that down and planning that episode because I think she would love that and I know you guys would love that and she's amazing and you guys need to get to know her more. Anyways, okay, quote 2 is by Gwyneth Roth. There isn't a someday. There never was. No one has ever been to the future that you keep putting your life on hold for. All we ever have is now. And if you continually put your life on hold for what your life will be like tomorrow or the next year, or when you finally lose the weight, you won't recognize that you already have what you want because you will have spent years training yourself to want, not have. Snaps. It is so true. And I think oftentimes we always are trying to get to like a destination. This is just, okay. All the cheesy things, all the cliches, all the stories, they're true. And that's why it's so hard to escape them. They're true. Every time I say destination, journey, I think about one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not my favorite movie of all time, but it's one of my favorites. It definitely is. And This movie, oh, it's so good. I could watch it over and over and over again. I make people watch it. If they've never seen it, I'm like, we're watching this movie. And it is the Hannah Montana, the movie. And it's all about the climb. It's not about how fast you get there. It's not about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. And I think oftentimes I know myself. Whenever I'm talking, I'm just talking about myself, because honestly, that is the only perspective I have, is myself and the whatever I've learned in life. But like, I'm having these realizations in this real time with you. Like, I've been waiting for, I'm waiting for the perfect relationship to do this. And it's like, why am I waiting? Why don't I just do it? Oh, I'm waiting till I come up with the perfect lyric. It's like, why not just write the song? I can edit the lyrics later. Oh, I'm waiting till I have friends to go to this movie I really want to see. Why don't I just see it? Maybe I'm going to meet a friend at the movies. Like, you never know. Why don't I just do it? Why am I waiting? Because life, like, I always say life, one of the things I have is like, people are like, oh, life is so short. Life's so short. No. Life is long. Life is long. We just don't know how long it is. And I think knowing that, one, it gets you out of the scarcity mindset. When people say life is short, I'm like, I feel like that produces a scarcity mindset of being like, oh my God, I have to like do everything. I have to have as many experiences, as many friends, as many parties, whatever. And I don't think that's necessarily healthy. But I think life is long. We just don't know how long it is. And that takes away the scarcity mindset, but then shows you like, truly, it's like, soak up those little moments, because we don't know how many we have, but just, we're not in charge of that, and we don't know what the future holds, but you do have right now, in this exact moment that you're listening to this, you do have this. And no matter who you were, no matter what people said about you, no matter what, opinions people have, or whatever the past version of yourself thought, like, you today is somebody completely new. Past versions of you have never felt exactly as you are feeling now, and have never experienced all the growth that you have now. And I think that that's a beautiful thing to realize. And even me, I'm like, you know what? There's so many, I think back to little Lily, and I'm like, there's so many things that I always wanted to do. And as I've gotten older, I've just started to do them. And it's crazy, because I'm like, oh my God, if I stopped, why did I wait around? Why was I insecure? Why was I nervous? Why did I wait around when I was younger? But I had to learn some valuable lessons. So you know what? Everything always works together for good, and it always works out. But if there's things you want to do, you just got to do it. Stop waiting. Start taking action, because the inspiration will follow. The inspiration will follow. The motivation will follow. The resources will follow. The friendships will follow. The boyfriends and girlfriends will follow. Start loving yourself. Do what you know in your heart is right. And I think everything else will follow. Like, start taking action. No matter what it is, just stop waiting around. And stop waiting and start taking action are one and the same. But I like to say stop waiting, because sometimes taking action can feel like a big, scary step. It can feel like a big, scary step once you've graduated school and you're like, I don't even know where to get a job. I don't even know where to look. Like, that can be a big, scary step. So instead of like start taking action, I always say like, stop waiting. Stop waiting for that perfect moment. Like, and just live in the now and take little actions. I think it was a Pinterest post, or one of those like graphic, like cute little aesthetic things. And it was saying how like, stop waiting for the perfect day to wear your fancy clothes. Stop waiting for the perfect time to spray your fancy perfume, and start wearing it now. Because if you declare that, today I'm going to be the version of myself I've always wanted to be, today is going to be a fancy day, like, then it will be. So stop waiting for it to happen, and like, it can happen now. Take little actions, and over time it's all going to add up, and I promise you everything else is going to follow. It will follow. Anyways, okay, this is a long rant, but I really like this. I needed this for me. I'm going to be honest, I was feeling a little insecure this past week. I've just been feeling a little like in my head. I think it's, seasonal depression, the holidays, mixed with nostalgia, mixed with like, I'm excited, but I'm nervous. Just a lot of emotions. Also think just it's growing up. I think it's just, I don't think we're ever going to feel perfect. And I think that would be boring. That would not be fun. I would have nothing to write about. If I felt awesome all the time, I would have nothing to say, like, but this has helped me a lot, because it's just put it into perspective. And I also say, like, I listen to these podcasts like for myself. Everything I'm saying, I'm just preaching to myself, because I need to hear it. And I needed to hear that. Like, you know what? Stop waiting for that day. Stop waiting for that dream job. Stop waiting for that record deal. Stop waiting for those people to validate you. And like, you can do that now. Wear that outfit, sing those songs and close your eyes. Like, you stop waiting around, and give yourself that validation, and take the action today, and make today special and start becoming the person you want to be. We need to do a whole episode talking about that, because I recently, I have some amazing tricks up my sleeve for you and like tools. I recently I'm working on, doing my vision boards and planning out my 2024. Maybe we'll do a vision board episode. I might do that with one of my friends. So that would be really fun. But I started writing down, like the goals and like things. I basically started writing down qualities of like the person I want to be. And then what is an action, so I can stop waiting. What's an action that I can take today? And that was like so helpful. And like doing this just reminded me of that. And I just feel so much better. Thank you for letting me rant to you. Anyways, I love you guys. And okay, if you're new here, we always end every episode with an affirmation. This is one my second grade teacher, Mrs. Goncher, had us say every single day. And she passed it down to me to pass it on to you guys. If you don't know it, get ready to know it. And if you know it, let's go. I'm going to say it twice, so then that way you can say it with me. But it's, today is a wonderful day. I am confident because I am a problem solver. I always have options because I choose to be optimistic. Today I will learn something new, laugh, and make a difference in someone else's life. Let's say it one more time for the people in the back. Ready? Today is a wonderful day. I am confident because I am a problem solver. I always have options because I choose to be optimistic. Today I will learn something new, laugh, and make a difference in someone else's life. Thank you guys for listening and or watching. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify and YouTube, and leave a 5-star review if you're on Spotify. I love this because this is just so fun for me. This is just me, like I would talk to myself. Like I said, I stopped waiting for people to invite me on their podcast, and I was like, you know what? No, I love it. I love going on other people's podcasts, but you know what? Why don't I just start one? I have so much to say, and I need to give myself a place to say it. And Live Laugh Lily Kincade was born. And also think about how cool the future Live Laugh Lily Kincade merch is going to be. Don't worry, I'm working on regular merch too, but like Live Laugh Lily, like slay. Anyways, I love you guys. As always, comment any ideas you have, any questions, DM me over on Instagram. Make sure to join the Discord, stream the music. I hope you're loving Winter Coat and Historic and 3 months. It's crazy because it's officially 3 months. Like it's the first Christmas and like holiday season that you guys will have with 3 months. And verse 2 of that is really like Christmas. Maybe I should do an episode about that, how to get over, a situationship or a short-term relationship or something, because I do have really good advice. I don't know, but let me know in the suggestions what you want to see. If you have any questions for me, I'm always here for you guys. Seriously, I feel like your big sister. I feel like we're in this together. We're just in this. We're in this together. Like I don't know what's happening either. So, but you know what? We're not alone. I love you so much, and I will talk to you next week.